Good morning, my loves. Welcome to another weekly vlog. My name's Lotty. If you're new here, I vlog about my life as a sen mum and as a carer and all the chaos and mischief that goes in between those little moments. We have just got back from our Scottish holiday and I'm going to show you everything that we got up to.
As you can see, we had the most lovely time when we were in Scotland. We spent the week there. We stayed in a little town called Peebles, which was lovely. Very friendly people, brilliant little town, so good. We could have probably spent more time there. We had a lot of rain while we were there, so we did a few mixed activities. Two of the biggest activities we did was the trip to Edinburgh Castle on my husband's birthday. So on the Sunday, it was ridiculously busy, as you will have seen in the footage. There were so many people there. In some places, there were so many people you were literally shuffling round. So it would have been nice on a personal level if that was quieter, because I get a little bit of social anxiety there. And even Delilah struggled with the social situation in that place. There were just so many people. The zoo, we visited Edinburgh Zoo, which I cannot rave about enough. It is beautiful at Edinburgh Zoo. The animals are well cared for, the grounds are well kept, there's places to sit everywhere you go if you need a little break, there are places you can have your own picnics or buy food if you want to. The gift shop was really lovely. The animals were a little bit hidden away because we went on a very rainy, cloudy day, so some of the time it was raining whilst we were there, so we didn't get to see everything, which is unfortunate. But if we do go back to Edinburgh, it's somewhere we would definitely go again, and I will highly recommend it, because the kids were just entertained from the moment we walked through the door till the time that we left, and they didn't want to leave that place. There's plenty of play areas, the staff are friendly and knowledgeable on the animals as well, so that is really worth the day trip. We also did walking around the forest and pot painting. The kids had a go on the little electric 4x4 things around the forest track. Ewan was incredible at driving. Straight up, he got in the car and he seemed to pick it up super fast.
Delilah struggled a little bit, and that's a concentration thing for Delilah. So as soon as she realised she could do it, she was kind of like trying to talk to me over her shoulder. So she was looking behind herself, so that kind of made her steer into the embankments basically. And over tree roots and all the rest of it, getting quite stuck a few times. But she had the most fantastic time. They did the cars twice and you paid for them separately. So that was like an additional thing within the holiday accommodation place that we stayed at. The main reason for this video, as much as we had a lovely holiday, I've got some major issues with the accommodation. And I am a little bit nervous about sharing these. I will be sharing it with the company as well because I believe it's only fair to do so. They will probably get an email today when this video goes live, or a review on TripAdvisor as well, saying the exact same things, because for the amount of money we paid for the unfurl treehouse at Glentress Forest with Forest Holidays was obscene. So the next clip I'm going to play is the run through of the cabin where we stayed, so the full accommodation from when you walk through the door, through the boot room, and around the bedrooms and the living area and the kitchen. Take a look at the cabin and then I'll come back and I'll tell you what I thought about the accommodation and what the issues were as far as I was concerned. And maybe some of you think that I am being a little bit harsh, but I'll explain why and my reasoning behind my harsh criticism when I'm giving you it. I'll see you in a second.
As you can see, the accommodation was absolutely massive, and I am a little worried that I'm being too harsh with my criticisms. I've got some notes written down, so I'm having a peep so I don't miss anything. But this is what luxury looks like. Now, on the Forest Holidays website, their whole aesthetic is very forest luxe range, and I was so looking forward to getting to the forest and having such a relaxing and luxury stay, because we paid the price tag. We really did pay the price tag. We paid over £4,000, so closer to £4,500 for 1 week in this treehouse, which was marketed as a luxury accommodation essentially. So when we got there, everything was pretty clean apart from the boot room. The boot room, as you walked in, it was just so tired, and that's your first impression when you go in. So you walk through and it's a bit like a boot room. There's a seat and some coat hangers for your coats, a little shoe cubby underneath there, and it was just very tired and worn and scratched up, and it just didn't seem to have been even hoovered, that section. So after that part, you walked into the living area. So it was a big dining room or a big dining table, should I say, and then sofas in the kitchen to your left. Everything was okay and clean, but again, very tired on the decor. Like, there were dints and scuffs out the wall, the paint was just knackered, and the rug had stains on it, like big visible stains on the rug. And ours was a pet friendly lodge, so there is some kind of allowance, if you like, for certain discrepancies, but having massive visual stains on a rug as you walk into this ridiculously expensive and large place that you're going to stay isn't the best look. The one thing that bugged us off completely was we had ordered a breakfast package. So basically they drop you groceries off for a full English breakfast that you can cook yourself, so they've used whatever they have on site, and we added this to our package essentially. And these additionals were not cheap. They weren't cheap, but they were supposed to be eggs, bacon, sausage, shortbread, tea, coffee, sugar. Was that it? I can't remember, but everything was beans and tomatoes and stuff like that. Everything for a full English breakfast. They'd forgotten to leave the eggs, and both the sausages and the bacon went out of date the day after we arrived. So the day we were supposed to, like, essentially use this stuff. But why, if you're paying for groceries at a premium price, should you have to eat it exactly the day after you've arrived? That should have been your choice when you were to have the breakfast, if you know what I mean. So that's quite a dangerous thing, because, I mean, it's food expiry date, isn't it? And it's not brilliant hospitality. So that was kind of one of the issues with the additionals that we'd placed. We placed a lot of additionals as well. So we'd done the breakfast order, and we also had done a certain few orders, so we didn't have to cook too much when we were there.
we'd ordered a pizza night, and the pizzas on the menu are marketed as hand-stretched sourdough pizzas, like handmade pizzas. We thought that sounded amazing, and even the pictures in the restaurant, and I'm not convinced they were the same thing, so even the pictures in the little hub place, which was kind of like a restaurant and a shop, an activity centre all in one go, it wasn't huge, but it was nice enough. The pictures of the pizzas in there look incredible. They were like the hand-pulled thin-based sourdough, stone-baked pizzas. We received 4 pizza bases with tomato puree on and like tons of cheese on, which is something we could have done ourselves. It's not what we were expecting in the slightest, and I think we ended up, I don't know if we made the mistake or the website had made the mistake, I'd have to check that, but we ended up doubling up on these pizzas. So instead of having what we thought we were ordering, we thought we'd ordered 2 pizzas and then sides for the family, which would have been plenty for us. We could have shared 2 pizzas plus garlic bread and sides and a tub of ice cream. It ended up being 4 pizzas, 2 garlic breads, like 4 sides? 4 sides and 2 tubs of ice cream, but the ice cream was massive. But the food wasn't great, so like we ended up stuck with 4 pizzas, and they were literally like cardboard based type pizzas, and we paid nearly £80 for that. And I'm assuming we paid £80 because I think the basic meal deal is 40, but we've ended up doubling up. Whether that was our fault or the website's fault, who knows. Rob didn't seem to think that he'd ordered that many, but we'll leave that to one side, because that could have been our fault for doubling that order, or it could have been the website's, who knows. But I think we paid for £80 for cardboard pizzas, essentially. We were just mortified. We thought we were going to be eating pizzas for about 4 days, partly down to our mistake, but also the quality of them were just shocking, like for what you would expect from a luxury retreat. It was just not good. So the other thing that we'd ordered was what was it? I think we ended up paying premium for Wi-Fi so that we could access all our streaming services, because that's what we don't really watch TV as such. We do stream a lot, and we do watch YouTube and channels like that. So we ended up paying extra for that. The bed linen. So on the morning, I always make the bed. It's the one thing I do. It's just part of my routine and what I do. I get up and I make the bed. That's an automatic for me. So even when we're on holiday, I'm making the bed. So as I'm making the kids' bed, I've noticed when I'm trying to tuck the bottoms in, because it's hotel style bedding, which means the ends are normally quite a bit longer for tucking, that at least 3 of the bedding, at least 3 of them, ours was ripped and the kids were both ripped, so all the bed linen was in disrepair, so along the seams they've come apart, which I know is really particular and fussy. But again, if you're paying high-end prices, £4,000 for a week, and you've got ripped bedding, what are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking at this point? They were my main issues with the place. The fact that the whole place looked tired and worn out. The fact that we paid an utter premium for this, and we added and paid extra for the additional extras, the breakfast and things that they'd left behind for us, like groceries. It just wasn't okay. The settling in package was really basic as well, so when we arrived, if we'd have not had the groceries put in there for us, so paid extra for that, you would literally have received a washing up sponge, wipe down cloth, washing up liquid, 2 dishwasher tablets and a bin liner. There was no like welcome package as such, so we've probably been spoiled a little bit. Our usual holiday, and I say our usual because we went 4 or 5 years in a row because we loved it that much, we went to and stayed in and loved Kielder Forest and we stayed at Kielder Waters, and they had lodges very similar. We didn't go we went probably high range, but we didn't go luxury to the extent we thought we were going this holiday. But in their little welcome package, they left tea and coffee, they left like things for the coffee machine, they left you a pint of milk in the fridge, and it was just really nice little touches like that. So when you arrived, you could literally make yourself a cup of tea. If we hadn't have bought the grocery package to be left in the cabin, there wouldn't have been any tea or coffee facilities there. So they leave you a coffee machine, but they don't leave any pods there, not even like a couple to get you started. They don't leave tea bags there. I mean, they put those in really basic hotels. There's always a kettle and there's always some little coffee or tea bags waiting near the coffee machine or the kettle. Little things like that could have been there, which would have made it more thoughtful and intentional. It just felt like it wasn't an intentional and thoughtful place. So like, you were literally paying for size, you were seeing how huge it was, and it was far too ridiculously big for just the four of us. We went for that one on the premise that it was luxury. We enjoyed the hot tub and we enjoyed the surrounding area, and I so loved Scotland. The forest was beautiful, and do you know what? The staff were lovely too, and there was nobody in the place staff wise that I can fault. And if I'd have been more on the ball with things, I would have said there and then what the issues were. But you don't ever want to sound I don't ever want to sound like one of those difficult customers, and that's to my detriment. That is my fault. I didn't say anything whilst we were there, and I really wish that I had done. The reason that I'm giving you this really dead honest review is because last night I sat down to edit my holiday video, and I was feeling as though I was being too harsh and very critical, but I went on to price up all the additional extras that we had paid for to kind of put it in perspective. Because I was feeling like I was being a little bit harsh, I was determined to find out what we had paid and if that my standards were just too high and I should be lowering my standards. But it just vexed me even more when I saw the price for the same week next year. So we went from the 5th of June to I believe it was the 12th, and we paid over £4,000, closer to 4,500, and we added additionals on there. We bought a massive bottle of Prosecco from them, we bought wine from them, we bought the groceries from them, we paid for the additional Wi-Fi package so that we wouldn't be without. We've got 2 SEND children, that's imperative. All these little things, and I honestly thought at one point that I was being far too harsh and that I really needed to check myself, but then I saw the price for this time next year. They are trying to charge families £7,000 for the privilege of staying in a large cabin. £7,000, and there was a comment made between Rob and I whilst we were there about staying in something similar over Christmas, because how magical would that be to wake up in a forest on Christmas morning? I mean, logistically speaking, that would be an utter nightmare. As a parent of 2 young children, I know that would be an utter nightmare. So we had a little look at what it would be like over the Christmas week. It was £18,000 for 5 days over Christmas. But there's also discrepancies in the price, because as I was working out these costings, I was on my laptop doing the editing. So initially I started my search on my laptop and I had a look, I found the cabin, put in the dates for this time next year, so exactly the same week but for next year, 2027, and I wanted to capture it as a screen record. So I brought the same information up on my phone to get the price on my phone so I could screen record, and it was £2,000 different. There's people up and down the country struggling to take the children on holiday, And I mean, we've brought our kids out of school to take them on the holiday, and it was more than £4,000 in the UK to stay in a forest in a cabin. And was it a special cabin? You tell me. So I don't feel too harsh about it. I'm just gonna run through my notes. Yeah, that was the other thing that I'd done. So in the quest to find out whether my standards were just way too high, I asked Google, did I ask Google? I asked Gemini if the brand of Forest Holidays and if the Unfurled Treehouse, which is classed as Golden Oak, at Glentress from Forest Holidays was marketed as luxury. And Gemini came back and said, yes, it's absolutely marketed as premium, top tier luxury experience. And they put words like luxury, ultimate indulgence, premium features and hidden touch of extra luxury all across their website. Yet we're checking expiration dates on sausages and bacon that we are paying additional for and having to throw away because they've gone out of date, and they were really stinky as well. So it's not like we'd have even risked eating it because you just know they weren't right. So yeah, just be very careful if you are going to book Glentress Forest with the Forest Holidays. There was other accommodation close by, and I'd definitely be interested in going back to the area. I just wouldn't stay with the Forest Holidays. I just wouldn't do it. Like I say, the staff were amazing and everybody we met were so friendly and lovely. I do not have a problem with anyone we met. I don't think we had a bad dealing with anybody. We just didn't. It was so nice to be in Scotland. Scotland's beautiful. It has a piece of my heart and we will be going back again. But we will just go to different places. I mean, it's good to explore anywhere, and we are creatures of habit normally. If we like a place, we go back and we go back, and it's time to do some exploring because that era is over. But I definitely would not pay £4,500 for a week there. And I certainly wouldn't be mad enough to pay like 18,000 for over Christmas or 7,000 for the same time next year. Get a grip, Forest Holidays. Is that me? Am I mad? I mean, you guys be the judge. Please tell me what you think. Am I being ridiculously picky? Are my standards too high? I personally don't think, with what I have researched and the pricing increase, I don't think I'm being too harsh with that. I think I am being honest. I have hopefully done it in the nicest way possible because, again, I'm very aware that people work there and people can be very proud of what they do and all the rest of it, and it's not an individual person's fault. I just think the standards are not high enough for the price that you're paying to a very reputable company. We have been through the last few years we used Ho Seasons. This year we've used Forest Holidays, and I wouldn't, from my experience, I would not be using them again because they're not what they market themselves as, in my opinion. And maybe the other cabins were different. Maybe the smaller cabins were less tired and more pristine, and maybe the boot rooms had been cleaned out, and maybe the linen wasn't ripped. Maybe we were just unlucky in that sense. But to me, if you are paying £4,000 for the week, you do not want to be sleeping on ripped bed sheets and checking expiry dates. It's just not the done thing. So this is where I'm going to let this week's vlog lie. I really hope that you have enjoyed the little bit about Scotland right at the start, and I'm so sorry this has been a bit of a ranty video. Like I say, the company will be in the know as well. I will be emailing them and leaving them a review and telling them that I was disappointed with it, because I think it's only fair that they know. Maybe they've got plans to redo it. I hope they have, because I think the price is definitely unwarranted. I would advise I wouldn't advise booking it because I don't think it's worth that money. If they lowered the price, then maybe so. Anyway, I'm going to stop ranting. I have had my rant. I feel so much better for ranting. So thank you for sticking with me. As always, thank you for staying about and watching my videos. Leave me a comment below on where you're staying for your holidays, or if you've had an experience like this. It'd be interesting to see if anyone has stayed in a forest holiday lodge in a different area or even in the same area and had a similar experience to me. From the reviews on Trustpilot, I can see that there are a few people who are mimicking what I have said with the certain little things about different sites. It would be great to see if anyone's had a very similar experience. Okay, my loves, I have finished ranting. Thank you so much for sticking with me for the duration of this video. If you got to the end, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and do all those good things for me. It really makes a difference. I am hopefully back to normal content next week. We are having the most mad week already. I can't even describe it, but for now it's early in the morning. Well, I say it's early in the morning, it's nearly 10 o'clock, so I've got to rush off and do all my usual jobs and get life sorted. Then I've got to edit this and get this up hopefully for my regular time. If not, it might be a little bit later, but I'm just going to see how I go. I'm not putting too much pressure on myself because I think it was important to give an honest review rather than a held back review, which is what I had initially filmed yesterday. So my loves, have the best week. If you've been on holiday recently, let me know how it went, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for sticking with. Bye.